This is 10th Avenue on the west side of Manhattan. It might look much like any other street in New York, but look again. Notice those train tracks above 10th Avenue? They're not part of New York's subway, and there's no train station nearby. So what are they doing here?
So we're right here on 10th Avenue in the intersection with 26th Street. And I actually have this photograph from about 100 years ago, and it's taken right in this spot. And I think what's kind of cool is the first thing you notice in the photograph is that there's a train, like a freight railroad train, in the middle of the road. And in front of that train is a cowboy. You don't really think about cowboys in New York City.
Why is a cowboy riding in front of a train on 10th Avenue? The story begins in 1846, when the Hudson River Railroad opens a brand new line on the far west side of Manhattan. Its job is to serve the many meatpacking plants located around 10th Avenue.
So the problem was, this train was operating on this very busy avenue. And so it meant that trains were hitting pedestrians, they were hitting cars, and people were dying. This avenue was actually called Death Avenue because so many people died because of the railroads.
As the deaths mount up, New Yorkers demand action.
The Hudson River Railroad had a real problem on their hands. And so in the 1850s, they came up with kind of an unconventional solution.
Under orders from the city, they hired dozens of cowboys from cattle ranches out west to come to New York and ride in front of their trains.
So here you end up with this kind of amazing situation where in New York City you've got, in the 1850s, cowboys on 10th Avenue waving red flags, warning people to get out of the way of the freight trains coming down the avenue. They were known as the West Side Cowboys.
The accidents continue, though, sending the overall death toll well above 400.
So eventually, in 1929, they decided that they were going to elevate the entire railroad up 30 feet in the air.
And it's this track you can still see on 10th Avenue. That is now known as the High Line.
So in 1933, the High Line opens, 13 miles of elevated highway, 105 street crossings eliminated. This immediately solves the problem of pedestrians being killed, cars being hit.
And puts the West Side Cowboys out of a job.
The High Line was incredibly expensive and complicated to build. It cost about $2 billion in today's dollars. Over 600 buildings were destroyed. That meant people and businesses were displaced so that we could get this dangerous railroad off of ground level.
But for the High Line and other elevated railroads like it, the writing is on the wall.
When the High Line opens, it was already becoming economically obsolete. They spent all of that money to build something right at a moment in time when the country is shifting to the suburbs and shifting to interstate highways and tractor trailers as the means of distributing goods in the country.
In 1980, the High Line closes for good. Then gets resurrected 30 years later as a park and tourist attraction. While Death Avenue is, thankfully, 10th Avenue once again.